In yoga, we focus on breathing a lot. And so I'm going to spend a little bit of time in this introduction to talk about the breath, talk about the diaphragm, and how it is important in full, deep, beneficial breathing in yoga. So the diaphragm is a muscle, and it's got kind of an umbrella shaped when it's not contracted. So when it's loose, when the muscle is relaxed, and it sits up under your ribs, okay? And there are attachments to your lungs, your heart. The diaphragm is connected to the tissue, and the diaphragm actually separates your chest area, your thoracic area with your abdominal area. So it keeps the stomach and intestines away from your lungs and your heart, all right? So it separates. And when that muscle contracts, it's actually shortening the muscle fibers, and they're all relaxed here, so they start to contract and they shorten, and they actually flatten out and spread out, okay? So that kind of, when we talk about abdominal breathing, you're not really breathing with your abdominal, you're breathing, that diaphragm is spreading out, and it kind of pooches out your stomach there. And then as it relaxes, as you exhale, it kind of floats back up. So you inhale, it expands, and you exhale, and it releases. Okay, so that's what, when people say abdominal breathing, that's what they're talking about. It's what happens naturally, but we're focusing on it. Now, in terms of the benefits, this deep, slow yoga breathing helps to stimulate your parasympathetic nervous system. And that's made up of the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve it's actually two nerves up here. It comes from your brain, it goes down. It actually goes down behind the throat. And so that's why sometimes when we vocalize, when we chant, when we you do what we call ocean breathing, we're stimulating that nerve. It comes down, it goes through the diaphragm. So every time you emphasize the movement of the diaphragm with your breath, you're stimulating the vagus nerve, which is part of the parasympathetic nervous system, which is actually calming you down, okay? So every time, and then it wanders around into the intestines and all of that. So it's involved, it's part of the parasympathetic, part of the autonomic nervous system, which is made up of the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. So we slow down the breath. Every time you inhale, the heart rate raises up a little bit. It might not be detectable by you, and every time you exhale, your heart rate slows down a little bit. And so and you want to have that slow, even breath. By lengthening your exhale, you're going to slow down your heart rate, basically allow your body to experience the relaxation response. And one way we can slow breathing is by valving the breath. I'm going to show you an experiment. I'm going to blow up this balloon. Not that much. If I don't valve it, if I just let it go, the air's going to come out really quickly, and it's just going to go all over the place. But if I kind of pinch it off and valve it off, you can hear it making a sound. It's coming out much more slowly, right? All right, so you get what I mean. So in yoga breathing, we sometimes constrict the back of the throat like you're fogging up a mirror. Same thing on the inhale. And inhale. That constriction in the back of the throat slows down the breath. And it allows your body to experience the relaxation response. of your parasympathetic nervous system. So we're going to be using some breathing techniques that help to calm down the system. We're also going to be using some breathing techniques that help to stimulate you and activate you. We'll be utilizing breath during this yoga study to provide benefits where we want them.